discovered it. Like a few other planets, this one has always been seen, but its moons were the most interesting to scientists, and a chap called Galileo invented the telescope and then saw 4 of them, which led him to call them the Galilean moons. Though apparently the very next day, a chap called Simon Marius discovered these moons and named them. Yeah, right. Not only that, but 6,000 years before, a Chinese guy called Gandhi wrote he saw something next to Jupiter, so probably one of its moons. The trouble for Galileo didn't end there, because these moons convinced Galileo that the Earth moved round the Sun and not the other way round, which is the opposite of what the Bible said, so he told everyone. It was just a good job he wasn't living in a really religious country at the time. What's it like to visit? You'd better set an alarm, and when you get out of bed, get your skates on, as a day lasts only 10 hours on Jupiter. It's also a gas giant because it's mostly made out of the same gas that you have in the Sun. Another name for these gassy giants are a failed star, which seems a bit harsh. Not everyone can be a star, right kids? What's it famous for? Well, it's big. I mean, you stick all the other planets in a blender and there'll still be less than half as much stuff that's in Jupiter. It's also as big as a planet can get. If you added more stuff, it'd shrink under its own gravity. And it has a big red spot, all part of growing up, I suppose. It's actually a huge storm that's been going on for a long time, but good news is the spot is shrinking, so Jupiter will be able to go out soon. Have we been there? This spacecraft, called Galileo, visited and orbited for 7 years and even dropped a mini spacecraft. Galileo was eventually crashed into Jupiter at huge speed, so none of its bits crashed onto the moon Europa, because it may harbour life, and they didn't know how annoyed they would be if they existed, or had any lawyers. There's also this one called Juno, which is still moseying about, but it might get damaged by Jupiter's magnetic field and crash onto one of the moons. Needless to say, NASA are bracing themselves for a strongly worded letter.